Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh yeah. All right. Oh, it's a box. Balaguer. FedEx was kind enough to do step one, which, as you know, is step one is cut a hole in the box. I just hope they didn't go to step two. I love how close to the fragile sticker this hole in the box is. An unboxing day is always a great day. People talk about Boxing Day, you know, like in Canada, it's like after Christmas or something. When's unboxing day? It's today. Bubble wrap, bubble wrap, bubble wrap. Once I was a man, now I am only bubble. There's not really a good way to do this. I always feel weird just like dumping out a guitar like it's yesterday's trash, but it's in a hard box, so. How many packages is this gonna be inside? Just let me get the guitar! Ah! Oh, I didn't have to rip it. I was like giving you the privilege of actually seeing it first. Even though it feels unfair, but. I've actually already seen it. I saw it at NAMM. Oh. It's a lot shinier here. Wow, it's like, is this like thermal wrap? I'm gonna have to ask Joe about that because I am so curious what's going on here with this shiny. You might be confused why I received this guitar in the mail if you saw my NAMM vlog, in which I said, I'm gonna walk out of NAMM with this guitar, and it's the only one that I get to do that because it's mine. But Joe was like, hey, why don't you let me take this back and get it all set up for you? Because I realized I didn't give him my tuning and string gauge beforehand and all that and tell him how I wanted it set up. So he took it back to Pennsylvania and set it up and then shipped it back to me. So here it is at long last in my hands. The Thicket, the thickest. Not a whole hell of a lot of guitars that you can be absolutely sure are going to show up still in tune. This one is because it has an Evertune bridge on it. I can't pretend to be surprised at how it looks because I have already held this in my greasy mitts. It's something different holding it here in my studio. All right, enough yakking. Let's plug this thing in and see what it can do. So now you've seen the entirety of the process, me ordering this guitar, receiving it, playing it, you've heard it in action, you've seen the whole thing tops to tails, and now it's time for me to talk about it, what I actually think of, how it went. There's a lot to unpack, okay? Like, you order a guitar and you wait, and it finally gets there, and there's a lot of things that you're feeling and thinking. I wanna start off by saying that I think that this is a great guitar, okay? I've been playing it for several weeks now. I love a neck through, so I was really glad to be able to get that. I'm kind of getting used to the Evertune, you know, it's got some quirks. It's definitely really cool. It's an amazing, insane piece of technology. You know, you just gotta know what it does, and there's a lot of weird little things about it that make it incredibly powerful and useful. And it has some limitations, of course. Even when it's in the mode where you can bend notes and do vibrato, there's like a little bit of a dead zone. You have to bend the string a certain amount before the pitch will change. And that's a little unnatural and weird at first. Of course, that's the whole point. You want the notes to stay in tune, even if you really rail on them. Like, I like to hit the strings pretty hard. So it's great. There's no question about it. It just takes a little bit of getting used to. The process of ordering the guitar was really super easy. It's literally an online builder. So what you see is pretty much what you get. There's, of course, never going to be exactly the same thing as the picture. Like, even just having a different monitor or whatever is going to give you a slightly different color than you see on the screen. Speccing out a guitar that way is incredibly fun, and I think probably tempers your expectations a lot better than just a list of specs, and I really liked doing it that way. The actual build quality of the guitar is top notch, just like I expected. The ones that I've played at NAMM, which is the only place that I've played them before, have all been really fun to play and really great, and this one was no exception. It was set up like a dream. It plays fast, the action is super low, the frets were perfect. It feels really great. It's got this nice satin finish on it that is just really smooth, nice to the touch. Feels very comfortable all around. The thing that bummed me out the most is that it's a lot heavier than I was hoping. That could be due to a number of factors. There's, you know, the neck through, no matter what, is gonna add a little bit. That's just a consequence of there being more maple and walnut in the guitar than the ash of the wings. You know, if this whole middle part was all ash, it would be slightly less. The Evertune supposedly adds a little bit of weight, but it also takes a ton of wood out of the guitar. So supposedly it evens out a little bit depending on the kind of wood that your guitar is made out of. I specifically always get swamp ash because, as far as I know, it's the lightest wood out there that people make guitars out of. You know, I don't know of a balsa wood guitar. And most of the similarly sized swamp ash and maple neck through guitars that I have aren't this heavy. So the thing is, like, that's just a preference thing. Some people really like heavy guitars. I don't know that there's any way that I could have made this guitar that much lighter aside from getting a bolt on. There's no way to really know how much a guitar is gonna weigh because every piece of wood is completely different depending on things like what tree it came from, what part of the world. It's a little bit of a crapshoot no matter what. I guess they probably could have shaved a little bit off the body for this model. I don't know, I don't build guitars. That's why I trust the professionals to do it. As I'm sure you probably noticed, the finish is a bit different from the one that I selected on the builder. And you know, if you look at the picture, you can see that it was not a burst in the picture, and this one is a burst. The edges are more white than the center. So that was a little bit of a surprise. Luckily, I also think that this finish looks super great, and I'm not really that bummed. I would still rock this on stage for sure. Because I added a coil tap, that combined with the three-way switch gives this guitar a ton of tonal options. So there's a lot of cool sounds in here. There are no finish flaws or weird sharp fret ends or any kind of dings or weird wonky shit going on this guitar. It's all there, it's extremely well put together, it looks great, it feels great. So now let's talk about the process. I ordered this guitar about a year before I received it. It was February of 2019. I'm shooting this in March, but I've had it since early February. At the time when I ordered it, it was quoted as being about a 4 to 5 month wait. And in that time period, Joe sent me some updates, some pictures of the guitar as it was coming along, and actually sent me a picture of a final finished guitar. And then he sent me a message saying that he'd received the guitar and that there were some quality control issues and that he sent it back to get rebuilt. And that was a bit of a bummer, obviously. You know, like I said in the video, when I order a guitar, I put it out of my mind and I just forget about it until it's time, until it arrives. Because otherwise you just go crazy thinking about it. And I wasn't really worried about it or thinking about it that much until until he sent me this message. And then I was like, oh, well, shit. Now I gotta wait longer. Okay, that's fine, whatever. I'm happy to wait as long as the final product is great, and this guitar is. But I can for sure say that I would have much rather gotten that message, which was super honest and right to the point, than have just gotten the guitar with these quality control issues, which were sort of unspecified, and being unhappy with it. So I wound up waiting about that length of time again, and it was done at NAMM. If you saw my NAMM vlog, then you probably saw me holding the guitar and taking a look at it. That was the first time that I saw it completely done, so that was pretty exciting. And I didn't actually get to take it home from NAMM. Joe took it back to his shop in Pennsylvania and set it up how I like it, and then sent it to me. No matter what, if you order a guitar like this, they're building it at the custom shop in Korea, but it goes through Joe before it gets sent out to the final buyer, because he goes through this big inspection process. It's super high-end quality control. He makes sure that everything is exactly how it's supposed to be before he actually sends it to you. Now, the first one, of course, did not pass that way. All in all, I would say that ordering a Balaguer semi-custom guitar met or exceeded pretty much all of my expectations in most areas. Of course, there was this major time setback. That's just a thing that happens sometimes when you order a custom guitar. It can't be rushed, okay? If you want the thing that you ordered, you want it right, sometimes it takes a while. So in the particular area of how much time something is going to take, I always keep my expectations super, super low when it comes to ordering a custom guitar. That's just the game, and I've learned to accept that. Even with like a quoted build time, honestly, I generally just kind of ignore those and assume that it's always going to take a lot longer than that, sometimes twice as long like it did this time. It probably won't for you. This, I think, was a bit of an exception. Joe says that they've had very, very minimal returns on these kinds of guitars, so it'll probably be a lot better for you. This was great, still, even in a year, you know what I mean? Like, you can totally see in the ordering video, I was like 30 pounds heavier, and you know, that was a different guy. Luckily, I was doing a favor for my future self, and future Trey is very grateful to older, fatter Trey, I guess younger, fatter Trey, for picking out all the specs on this guitar and having it sent to me here in the future. So I'm pretty happy with how it went, and I'm gonna get a lot of use out of this guitar, especially in the studio, you know, using this Evertune bridge, and I'll probably record with it quite a bit. Thanks so much for watching, guys. As always, if you haven't already, mash that subscribe button, smack the bell to join the notification squad. Drop me a like and leave a comment in the comment section below letting me know if you've ever ordered a custom guitar before, how long it took, were you happy with the end result, would you order a Balaguer semi-custom like this glorious Thicket that I've got in my hands here, or do you stick to regular old factory guitars? I want to know, and I'll see you real soon.